here's a dilemma for making a list show about your favorite games on the Nintendo Entertainment System. How do you negotiate around how large Nintendo looms in their own lineup? Whatever else you can argue about Nintendo's place in video game history, there's one distinction nothing will ever be able to take away from them. Dollar for dollar, Nintendo are the best first-party developers of all time. But while that means great games, it also means you have to make impossible decisions about what to leave on and off in order to show your love for the iconic first-party titles and the third-party releases that you hold in equal or greater esteem. Or you can just do what I did and make two separate lists because it's your show and you can do whatever the hell you damn well want to. I'm the Game Overthinker, and these are my top 10 favorite NES games from Nintendo. Number 10, Kid Icarus. Would the popular culture even have remembered Kid Icarus if they hadn't stuck him into the team on the Captain N cartoon? Probably not, but they did, and as a result, I'm not the only one that remembers this quirky, imperfect, but enjoyable little title. Sure, it feels like a mashup of still developing ideas for platforming, flying, exploration, and dungeon crawling that would later get refined in better games like Zelda and Metroid, but that weirdness is part of the charm. Plus, it gave us terrific characters like Pit himself, the Eggplant Wizard, and paved the way for the awesome Game Boy sequel and one of my favorite Smash Brothers characters. Number 9, Dr. Mario. It's almost not worth even trying to make a list of the best puzzle games, though I'll probably try at some point, because the answer is Tetris, and everyone knows it's Tetris, and it'll always be Tetris. But I love Dr. Mario just a little bit more all the same. Yes, because I'm insatiable for all things Mario, fine, but it's also an addicting puzzler in its own right, and the unique color-matching mechanic and delightfully weird germ-fighting scenario set a standard that modern-day mega hits like Candy Crush are still aspiring to this day. Number 8, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I've said as much before, but the whole modern idea of Mike Tyson as a kitschy pop culture reference, in my opinion, should make us all a little bit uncomfortable, given the pretty damn ugly reasons his career cracked up in the first place and his own history of being exploited as a person. But the facts of his life and the already warped nature of his public persona at the height of his fame when this was released is part of what makes Punch-Out such an incredible artifact of pop culture. It's a great game, first off, one of the best ever, with an unmatched integration of character animation and gameplay, but the idea that Tyson's celebrity, even before all the scandals and arrests, was so tied to the idea of him as some kind of unstoppable inhuman monster that he was the villain in his own video game is still a troubling but utterly fascinating snapshot of that era in gaming and the actual sport of boxing. Number 7, Startropics. It's Zelda gone all tropical with a sci-fi twist that recalled pulpy boys' own adventure stories like the Hardy Boys and Tom Swift. And even though it was only ever a cult item on initial release, it now gets to live forever as part of the NES Classic lineup. An utterly ingenious game that made even gimmicky 80s nonsense like incorporating a physical prop packaged into the game and into the action feel essential and fun. The tropical aesthetic made for some of the most memorable environments and enemies of the era. If you've never played Startropics, there's no better time than to hunt down a copy and find out what you missed. You won't be sorry. Number 6, Kirbys Adventure. Is this the best Kirby game? No. Is it my favorite Kirby game? Also no, but Kirbys Adventure is one of the great late-period NES titles, and it holds a personal cherished spot in me and my family's history, with games as the first one my kid sister really got into, so I'll always love it for that. And like I said, it's also one of the all-time great NES platformers, boasting a flawless balance of challenge and all-ages accessibility, and it's the game where the power copying ability that's now become the defining characteristic of the Kirby franchise originated. All that plus a massive game world, one of the best final boss battles ever, and the debut of Meta Knight. Number 5, Super Mario Bros. 2. Yes, Super Mario Bros. 2 absolutely counts as part of the Mario canon, even if, yes, it was built out of Doki Doki Panic. Maybe if it had really just been a one-off digression, the argument for leaving it out of the discussion would be one thing, but the fact that the sequel to the game that made Mario Mario for Western audiences took the characters in an entirely different direction was so damn successful in its own right, effectively established precedent for the character to be more than just a vessel for his gameplay. It added now ubiquitous staples of the series like the Bombs and Shy Guys, it gave the series its first ever ice and desert levels, and it let Peach become a player character for the first time. And on a personal note, I'll always remember it fondly as one of the first games we played through as a family when I was a kid, mostly because Dad was an absolute ace at the slot machine game. Number 4, Balloon Fight. Is it a Joust clone? Yeah, but it's the best Joust clone ever, well, cloned. The defining early design work of the late, great, and dearly missed Satoru Iwata, Balloon Fight's bouncy, free-floating gameplay and brilliantly whimsical aesthetic made it one of the defining first-wave NES games, and the two-player Nintendo experience my kid brother and I probably logged more hours on than almost any other game outside of Contra. That's gotta count for something. Number 3, Duck Hunt. Point a toy gun at your TV, pull the trigger, and the stuff in the video game actually takes the hit. It may not seem like much today, but the Zapper was like magic in the mid-80s, and Duck Hunt was the game that most perfectly expressed how much fun it was to use when the games were executed properly. If you've still got an NES with Duck Hunt hooked up to a TV that'll still work with it, you know the score. Once people find out you have it, everything stops and you just have to play a few rounds just to spite that goddamn dog. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda. I have no idea what The Legend of Zelda was going to be the first time it was booted up at a cousin's house, but everything about it felt important. Not only did the cartridge offer no indication what type of game it might even be, they plated it in freaking gold just to drive the point home that this was something unique and special. And then you turned it on and there was that unforgettable music, a title crawl, an overworld that let you go anywhere. It felt like an entire universe opening up for the first time. Yes, the series didn't really figure out what it was truly meant to be until A Link to the Past, but that first game has stayed gold literally for a good reason. Plenty of games before had delivered action, but The Legend of Zelda was the first time they truly captured adventure. Number 1, Super Mario Bros. 3. You're shocked, I can tell. Where to even begin? As I've noted before, Super Mario Bros. 3 embodies the sheer joy of experiencing not just an expansion and precision refinement to the original Super Mario concept, but the power of an NES fully unleashed with room to breathe and expand. Super Mario Bros. 3 was such a big deal in its day, they made an entire movie just to tell everyone about it, and today it remains the gold standard by which all of the Mario games must be judged. Hell, I could put it into this number 1 spot just for how much I love the Tanuki suit alone, and that's not even getting into the first appearances of franchise staples like the Koopalings, the airships, Mushroom Kingdom style Bob-omb, Karibo's shoe, Boo. Hell, we even got a great inside joke like the warp whistles from Zelda. I'll never forget the feeling of boundless possibility and expectations blown to smithereens that accompanied the release of this game, and that's why Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite Nintendo NES game of all time. And that's the list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell us about it in the comments and suggest other lists you might like to see. Remember to like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and please consider donating to the moviebob Patreon to support this and other series like it. Hey gang, here's a question that keeps coming up. If your handle is moviebob, where are your movie reviews? Well, my old reviews are in a lot of places. You'll find many of them on my YouTube channel, but you'll find the brand new ones on geek.com, an awesome site that's also your one-stop news source for science, TV, gaming, technology, nerd culture, the works. You can find all my reviews directly by going to geek.com/author/bchipman, because that's my real name, and you can get regular updates on all my reviews and all of geek.com's other great content by signing up for their kick-ass newsletter at subscribe.geek.com. And don't forget to also subscribe to the Geek.com YouTube channel, where you'll find the videos that accompany my reviews and tons of other great content too. Remember, that's Geek.com, the Geek.com newsletter, and Geek.com on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on all the latest MovieBob reviews. You can also check out my own new website, MovieBob Central, where you'll find my blog, links to all my work, and shop for my books, ebooks, and future MovieBob products. And please remember to like these videos, share them with all of your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching another MovieBob production.